Curious what virtual executive presence looks like and what it doesn't look like? I'm going to share a couple of interviews with two tech leaders that I think you will recognize. And I want you to look for those behaviors that make you feel that they're confident, they're credible, they're engaging, they're listening. And I'm going to call out some of those behaviors and see if you agree with me. You ready? Here we go.
Where we're not going to be here in the 2030s communicating and using computing devices that are exactly the same as what we have today.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. First of all, his framing is very tight. It's what they call in the film industry an extreme close up. And if you had this image full screen on your computer, it could be quite off putting. That can be a little overwhelming for audiences. Also, the background is very neutral, but it gives off nothing in terms of authenticity or transparency. He could be in a closet, he could be in his office, who knows? Let's go on.
And someone has to build that and invest in
What
it and
or
believe in it.
who
And there's
is
a lot
he
of new
looking
technology
at?
that needs to get invented to create that. So
He's clearly not looking at the interviewer or the camera, and that makes him look less certain, less confident, and certainly less credible, which is not something I'm sure he wants to convey.
I'm still very optimistic about that. And I'm happy to go as deep as you want on all of that.
Wait a minute. You're happy? I'm sorry, that is not a happy face. Let's look at it again.
Technology that needs to get invented to
When
create that.
people's faces and their expressions and their eyes and their body language doesn't match their words, we automatically kind of go on high alert. That incongruency sets off alarms.
And I'm happy to go as deep as you want on all of that, what it means for our
Right.
mission and the business and strategy.
Well,
But obviously for the next few years, and I think we're in a zone.
Did he just ignore the interviewer's verbal and nonverbal cues that he wanted to say something or ask him something? Wow, that is the antithesis of active listening. And yet, all these things, the lack of eye contact, the lack of facial expression, and the talking over people or not giving them space to participate happens all the time. And those are obviously detracting from his virtual executive presence. So let's look at another example.
You know, it's so great to get such a positive response from people, and it's great to invite people here.
So right away, we see great energy, fantastic eye contact, really makes you feel like he's talking right to you. And I'm sure the interviewer feels the same way.
So that they can get a glimpse of what it looks like inside and sort of pull back the curtain a bit on Apple Park.
Okay, he is doing a great job of gesturing, which makes you look even more authentic, and it supports what you're saying. I love that gesture. It's very specific and purposeful, where he talks about pulling back the curtain. That's a great way to use gestures to bring your words to life.
It's so beautiful. And even all those fly-throughs of California, like I live here, and it was just so awesome to sort of experience that. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's great to show places that really inspire you.
Look at him absolutely listening to her and making her feel heard by looking in the camera. And you can tell he's listening because his facial expression actually changed appropriately for what she said. So, great example of using active listening cues on video very naturally and very authentically. So, two very different examples of what virtual executive presence looks like and what it doesn't look like. And you probably walked away with a very different feeling about each presenter in terms of their confidence, their credibility, their intentions. And that's really the power of harnessing these qualities of executive presence and adapting them for the camera so that your audience can really get the sense of who you are and that you're on the same page with them and you're real and your intentions are good. So stay tuned for more examples of virtual executive presence in action.